Well, I guess we can go ahead and get started with this. I passed out some of the agenda for folks. This is a little bit unusual. Usually, our business meeting is one of the very last things we do on Friday, right before the end of the conference. So we're not quite at the finish line yet, but we're getting there. So if you haven't attended any of our business meetings, this is usually kind of how it works. I'll welcome you all here. You've been here all week. It's been fantastic meetings so far. I think Guillermo and Elba and Jacinta and the whole crew have just done a fantastic job with everything. It's been so far an extremely successful meeting. So new business. Usually we are approving the minutes from the previous executive council meeting. That one was held at the USCAP meeting in March. And we did not have a quorum for that meeting. So we had talked about some things there, but we did not have enough people to actually conduct any business at that meeting. So we had some lively discussions, which was, I think, beneficial. But we will, so that's that. I'm just going to go through. Usually the secretary and treasurer reports are the secretary report is reporting our memberships. We have in the Society for Ultrastructural Pathology right now has 94 active members, which is nice. That number's been steadily increasing over the past few years. We were going the other direction there for a little while, and so it's been nice. I'm not sure. I have some ideas on what's working, but it would be nice for any new members what you find valuable. It'd like be nice for us to learn what you find valuable in the society and what we can keep doing and keep doing better to keep that number going up.
But my main concern is new people, residents, new faculty members. How can we attract those people to electoral vitality?
Right.
That's, to me, that's been my concern in the society, because you cannot continue relying on many of the members.
Exactly.
New blood. And we need to do something to do that. I mean, whether that means many things to do.
And this is a we've been trying to figure this out for many years. Right? The demographics of our society have shifted, I think, over the years as well, where there's not as many faculty members, pathologists, and we have more, EM techs, high-level techs, PhD researchers, and that sort of thing. And so we need to, I think, also accommodate that demographic, because often it seems like there's more and more of non-clinicians that are actually performing the electron microscopy, and the groups like the bio-EM group is more tech based, and that's fantastic. And there's a lot of because some of the questions we get that I think we've had trouble addressing as a society is how do we support those people, and with educational materials, are there things that we can do? And maybe let's get through some of this, and then we can have some of these other kind of more conversations. But I did want to share that. So our membership for this conference, I have to add it up. I believe we had 67 registrants for this UltraPath meeting. The virtual attendance, we saw that was very helpful, and that was nice. And I think since we all learned how to deal with that from COVID, it's been really nice to be able to offer virtual attendance. But I think those who are here also see the value in actually attending a meeting, especially a small meeting like this, where at the end of the week, you really get to know everybody that was there. There's not many conferences you can attend, I think, where you really feel like you know everybody that was there. So I think there's advantages in both regards there.
Do you have the breakdown? On-site versus?
I do. I don't have it on me right now. It was almost half and half.
Like 18 virtual.
Yeah, and then because some of our in-person attendees, were single day registrants, so they weren't here the whole time. Yeah, But yeah, it ended up being about half and half, I think. Yeah, so I think that was great. No problem there. Just for the treasurer report, the Society for Ultrastructural Pathology is financially solvent. We are this meeting should break even. I know for some of the new people, that's our goal for these UltraPath meetings is not to make any money at all. You know, if we do, that's great. And our previous two meetings in Sydney and Amsterdam were profitable meetings, but they're not set out that way. We don't set the registration fees trying to make money off of these meetings or anything. We try to set them for what we think it's going to cost, and then if we have more virtual attendees, for example, you know, that's kind of money coming in that we don't have to account for the cost of the conference. So but I just want everyone to know that that's not the goal of these meetings, is for the society to make money. I think this one will probably break even. I think, you know, we're right in the kind of the sweet spot where we want to be with this. So that's another success of the meeting also. We have several positions that are becoming vacant, and this is also typically at our UltraPath meetings is when we transition from one role. You know, if somebody has served their time, the president-elect, secretary, and treasurer positions are 2-year commitments. The president has a 2-year as president-elect, 2 years as president, and then 2 years as past president. And there's responsibilities that go along with each of those roles. And those are spelled out. Sarah Miller, a while back, spent a lot of time creating kind of a how-to book for the society, which really spells out what the responsibilities are for each one of these roles. And we probably haven't used that to the extent that we should have. And we can do a better job with that. And it's also a situation now that the society, the UltraPath conferences were fairly separate than the society before. There would be a conference host, and they would run all of their registrations, run all just take care of the conference themselves. The society was kind of there to provide funding for deposits, you know, to get everything going, get the ball rolling, you know, the communication with our members, that sort of thing. But they were really pretty separate. Things have changed over the past, I think, since Amsterdam, when the society began running the conference websites through our website, handling the registrations through our financial programs that we have for collecting registrations, that sort of thing. So things have changed, and for that reason, the how-to books are a little bit outdated. Those are going to need to be updated, and that's going to be one of the goals that we try to do, I think, for everybody who's in their position coming out kind of in this next cycle. So right now we have a president-elect position is vacant, and one of the things that was discussed at the USCAP meeting was, back up a little bit. This is also a very short cycle for what we have with our positions. The previous UltraPath meeting was in Sydney in fall for us here. And then this one is kind of an early spring. So we didn't even get a full 2-year cycle, closer to 16, 18 months or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
October 2024 to May 2026.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it was proposed that since we have some vacancies and had not identified people, there is precedent for extending terms. So those that were at the executive council meeting in San Antonio at the USCAP meeting, we discussed that, approved on it, voted on it, but that vote doesn't count. So I think this is probably a good opportunity to see if that's still the plan we want to do. That would take a motion from the members out here. Yep. Well, we need a motion first, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the motion is whether or not the current executive committee for the Ultrastructural Society for Ultrastructural Pathology will be extended for another term. That would be taking us to the 2028 meeting in London. All in favor?
Well,
Okay,
according
discussion.
according to the sort of Robert's rules or whatever, you can make the motion.
Well, that's why I was trying to get somebody to do that out there.
We have to do that.
Oh, you had your hand up?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were voting yes.
Yeah.
The chair recognizes Dr. Miller.
Discussion, and I will say that I've talked with both the current president and the incoming president-elect, and they are willing. That's the first thing we need to know is, are they willing to continue? And the sense of it is that I think that you and Nicole are willing to continue in the capacity that you are right now.
That's correct.
We do have a couple of vacancies that we know of, so that will have to not be the whole council that moves forward.
Right.
But with that discussion,
Mhm.
ask for any other discussion.
Any comments or discussions?
I would like to make a motion that we accept what I just said.
Second.
I'll second the motion.
The president-elect is Nicole, and Nicole,
Yes.
are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so we need to have your okay with this decision.
Yeah, I think it's a very good idea to extend because, well, we need more input from the America side of things, and I think Eric is doing a really good job. So it would be great if he can stay on a bit longer, and then I will step in when we are in London, I guess.
Yep. Great.
And this means also that the past president is going to be a bit longer on.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Are you willing,
I am, yes.
Joanna?
No.
This way.
I'm willing to do whatever. I don't know why.
No. John? Okay, you have the main three who have said yes.
Okay.
Second motion.
So, second motion, all in favor? Aye. The motion passes. Very good. All right. Let's do that. So as far as other vacant positions, the secretary position is Sarah Pollock is stepping away, and so that leaves the secretary position open. Do we have any nominations for the secretary position?
I was gonna nominate Sibel if she was willing to take over the secretary position. And then that Sibel was why I voted. I don't know if anyone else.
Okay. Very nice. You need discussions about this? Sibel, is that, yeah? Was there a nodding of the head back there? Very good.
Yeah, it's just not in our hand.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor of Sibel becoming secretary? Yeah. Excellent. Very good. Welcome to so Sibel previously was the North American counselor.
Yes.
So that leaves an opening for the North American counselor position. Not sure if anybody's had any discussions about that, but do we have any nominations? Is anybody interested in being our North American counselor?
Is Jean Howe a member of the society?
Jean Howe's trying to climb under a table back there, I think.
Yes.
Jean Howe is a member of the society.
But the question becomes really, what is the role?
Exactly.
Of
And I think some of these, especially the counselor position, I think we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. I have some ideas about that. It seems like in the past that has been just mainly kind of a title without a lot of responsibilities. And I think it's a missed opportunity that we have as far as kind of getting some more hands to help out with things. As I remember it, the counselor position's main role was to kind of report back to the society of any trends about ultrastructural pathology, share any kind of interesting meetings that might be coming up, as well as recruit from their region. So we have an Australia, Asia counselor, a North American counselor, a Middle East, Northern Africa counselor, and what am I missing? There's European counselor. Yeah, that's right. And and so that's those are haven't had a whole lot of things to do, and so I think that's something that we can address with our how-to book as far as
It's the Middle East still has a issue.
So
yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, the Northern Africa, Middle East counselor position was a new one that was presidentially appointed before I was here, and that was it's kind of an ex officio position right now. That's Dr. Manzi in Cairo, right?
So aside from the American Council position that is open, what about the Australasia counselor? Because Charles Chan is, I don't know what's, if he's still on.
Right. I'll just repeat because I'm not sure if everybody can hear it, if there's anyone online. But so Charles Chan was a longtime member of the society and would come to almost every USCAP meeting and our UltraPath meetings. He transitioned his job into a different role where he's not doing EM anymore, and so that position is open. In fact, we had kind of lost touch with him for a little bit, but just today he emailed us and to confirm. I think we kind of knew what was going on, but he confirmed. So that position is open. So I think this would be a good time right now if there are any candidates or nominations for the counselor for Australia Asia.
Do we have?
Just hold on to two. Yeah, John.
I have one nominee from South Australia who is willing to be the Australasian councillor.
Right, and that is
Max Kehoe.
Yeah, so he was Max is a member of John's lab, and fantastic. He was participated in the Sydney meeting, of course, and so he has agreed to take on that role as Australia Asia counselor. So with John's nomination, yes. Yes, we'll vote on whether or not Max is Kehoe, is that how we pronounce it? Kehoe, Max Kehoe for Australia Asia counselor. All those in favor? Aye. Ayes, take it. Very nice. You can let Max know, and we will be working on kind of. He'll be curious, I'm sure, what that means for him, and so we'll be getting back to him about that. That's excellent.
So let's go back to the American Council.
Yeah. Is this a discussion we can have right now? Is this
So any other nominees?
Yeah. Is anybody expressing any interest to want to join it? I can tell you, I've been part of this society for 20 some years now, and I'm still kind of a newcomer for some compared to some of our, and it's just been extremely satisfying, and I mean, just the networking and the people that you get to meet, and there's usually kind of a pipeline. It doesn't always work that way where you start off as kind of a counselor position, and then if it's a good fit for everyone, kind of move into the executive council, and then kind of move through that way. So certainly not required to happen that way, but that's usually kind of how it works. And so if I mean, I can just attest it's the society's meant a lot to me, and just getting to know everybody's been great. And not that you can't get to know everyone by just coming to the meetings, but the other side of it's been rewarding as well. So if there is anybody that's interested, or if we have any nominees, before we move on to the next topic, can we discuss anything about that? Yeah. Maybe we can revisit it.
I want to mention for a while. Well, I was thinking about Lisa.
Lisa would be perfect in the sense if we want to go into quality.
Yeah.
She's a quality specialist.
Yes.
We
we want to build
This
a
is-
facility group.
yeah.
She would be perfect. For
Right.
that.
And for those online, Sibel is mentioning that so Lisa Cummings is in charge of the quality for the EM lab at the Mayo Clinic. And one of the initiatives that we've kind of flagged that we want to do as a society in the next couple of years, I'm sure some of you know that in the past, CAP, our for those who might not know, our accreditation I don't know what you'd call them, people, they have kind of left electron microscopy alone. And it's been really nice because our CAP inspections have been kind of easy in the past, but they're starting to kind of recognize that that's the situation. And then there's more and more EM labs that, in my lab, for example, we fall under kind of the umbrella of anatomic pathology for our accreditation. And so a lot of our quality documentation and things like that gets handled by other people. So our CAP inspection is usually someone just kind of walking through and making sure the floors are clean and we don't have trash stepped up by the ceilings, and that we're documenting our cases right and everything. And it's pretty painless, but that's not going to be the case going forward, I think. And so we want to, as a society, get ahead of that. And we want to make sure that CAP is evaluating us for things that are really important that will, help us keep our labs in good shape and not not be asking us to be doing unreasonable things and that sort of stuff. So we do want to. That's going to be a topic that we try to address here in the next couple of years. I think that'd probably be a realistic timeline to and then something that we can present to CAP and say, we want to do this. Other places in the world, they have very, they're far ahead of us as far as those kinds of things. And so that's, I think we can catch up at least for the US labs, and maybe we can learn some things from our Australian and European counterparts who have been already,
We already
dealing
have
with this.
we are a standalone lab, so that's why
Right.
I told you.
Okay.
It would be great to have experiments.
Well, I'm okay tabling the North American counselor position for a little while, maybe while we can have some other discussions and see, maybe people want to know again exactly what that's going to entail and how much of a time commitment it is and that sort of thing. So
Just have a neuron that keeps sort of flipping.
Mhm.
So many years ago, we had a council position of future meetings representative.
Mhm.
I did it for a while,
Right.
and I think we finally sundowned that position. But part of the idea, if I remember correctly, is that the counselors for the various regions would take on some of the role of trying to figure out locations for future meetings. So that might be worth sort of considering that, although it looks like we've done a good job of planning future meetings
Mhm.
kind of
Right,
for the
right.
next couple of times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I don't know. That's something I don't know what happened. If that was an official council position, I don't think that was an official council position.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like our historian. It was a position that we kind of created in order to have another voice at the table, and with that responsibility of kind of helping to identify, not being solely responsible for it, but to kind of helping identify where our next meetings are going to be. But yes, your last point is excellent. This was the first time I think that we've in a while. This is how it used to be, where we knew we always had two UltraPaths, at least the locations planned and the organizers identified. And so when we left this meeting, we would know where the next two are going to be. And that's our situation right now, which is a much more comfortable position than when we left Sydney and we did not know where the next UltraPath was going to be. So this is much more comfortable.
I hope that'll be good.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's stepped up big time. Yeah.
So I'll say something. I mean, I totally agree that we had that position, and that position was on the website.
Mm-hmm.
I covered that position for several years, and I recall talking to Guillermo and suggesting to post this position.
Mm.
This UltraPath, which he did a great job at. And but now we have discussed at the one of the last meet. I think it was the business meeting in Sydney or the USCAP in 2025. We had discussed London and then the Mayo Clinic in
Right.
in 2030. So we have that done. If you want to have that position removed by incorporated into the councillors of the different regions, then that could be definitely done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I think so. The way our bylaws are set up is the executive council positions are set. I think
Yeah.
if we were to add another official council position, we'd have to amend the bylaws, and that takes, I think, a majority vote by the entire membership. Is that right?
The bylaws say
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the only positions that are listed in the bylaws are president, secretary, and treasurer. And
Right.
then there's a second section that allows the president to appoint other
Right.
offices.
Right.
With the approval of
Yeah.
council.
And does it make any distinction about voting, which as far as which positions can vote on things? No,
I think all that are appointed by the president can vote.
they can vote. Okay,
in the council.
that's my
So we
understanding
had,
too.
especially before, was sort of in Peter position, that it was sort of non-voting, but
Right.
all
Right.
are voting.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the way it should be. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So going on down the agenda here, I don't know, is there more discussion? I don't know. Do we need to talk about a future meetings kind of representative or position? I don't.
You can appoint one.
Yeah, it seems like I thought we had one. No, I can't. Maybe not. Guess we don't.
Appoint one
Let
of the
me
council.
check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they can
Our
rotate,
website.
Right.
rotate them with councillors.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So one of the things that well, let's finish this up this next thing. Yeah, I'm not going to appoint anybody right now to be a future meetings representative. Just we're in good shape right now. We're in good shape right now. The next meeting, of course,
Exactly.
this is here. This is where we're going to be in next May. I believe they have nailed down that first week, the 14th to the 19th. This is where it's going to be. It's going to be hosted at right in the central London. I'm not very familiar with London, but it looks like it's about 2 blocks from King's Crossing, if you know where that is. And it's between King's Crossing and the Thames, I guess. And it's at a facility. The hosts are Bart Wagner and Patricia Goggins, who are very active in the UK EM Society groups that they have over there. We've been trying for many years to get a conference in the UK, and so we're very grateful that they accepted, and they've already done a lot of legwork. I have emails this morning. The location will be it's called the Good Enough Club, and they have a good enough hotel. Funny story. I shared this with some of you guys. I was reading it and I didn't know how to pronounce it because it's all one word. And I emailed Bart and I said, I'm going to have to say this word. How do you pronounce this? And so he said he Googled it and said Google told him that you pronounce it just like the surname. And I said, well, that's not very helpful because I don't know anybody named Good Enough. but it's good enough. Like something is good enough, but it's together.
The hotel is.
That's the name. So it seems to be. I don't.
Is that a reputable hotel?
It's beautiful. It's good enough. Yeah. But there's a good enough club. There's a good enough hotel. It's kind of a little complex. I think there's a good enough college, and so Patricia was there and thought it would be perfect for our group.
Good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, I mean that's one of the nice things about kind of a smaller place is we can go to interesting, locations. So, that all looks great. And so we're going to help them. We're already helping them with the preliminary plans for that.
Maybe I didn't hear you, but did you say which of the?
Yeah, oh yeah. It looks like they've nailed down that we haven't signed the contract yet, but it's all going that direction, and it's going to be the 14th through the 19th, that first week that's on there. And yeah, May 2028. So yeah, that will be nice. And then following that, we'll be in the Mayo Clinic. We traditionally try to have a meeting, there every other year. So this is here. The next one's in the UK, then the Mayo Clinic. So ideally, we'd be looking for another host somewhere else in Europe, maybe Asia, somewhere. Because it's really anywhere. So if anybody, Canada, yeah. That would be fun.
That may be fun, the US, but then.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be northern Minnesota.
We can probably go to Cuba.
Yeah. Greenland, yeah. But anyway, so we have some time, but it's something to keep in mind, if your colleagues, if you know of anybody, it would certainly be nice with but by the time this one approaches to have the next one coming in. So Giovanna, do you want to come share about the USCAP? Giovanna has kind of taken on an unofficial role. This should be probably should create a title or a position for, because it's a lot of work. She's organized our USCAP companion meetings that's every year. And they are, we sometimes play a little fast and loose with our group here. USCAP doesn't let you do that. You have to really be in line. And Giovanna's done a fantastic job the last few meetings. Our attendance at our USCAP meetings also keeps going up, which is nice. There's been some times when you feel like you're just kind of talking to the other speakers a long time ago, but that's not the situation at all. We had a fantastic. I'll let Giovanna share some of those details.
Well, when talking about
Just about USCAP.
yeah. So sorry, I was trying to figure out something else on my computer. So the USCAP meeting I've been organizing since 2017, and we've had throughout the years great speakers. So about 2 years ago, we decided to go with because the Gadiali's 5th edition was being written and it has been published last year. We decided to have the USCAP meetings concentrate on organelles and the role of organelles, cell organelles in human diseases. So last year we started it with lysosomal diseases, and Dr. Grande was one of our speakers, and Dr. Herrera was one of our speakers, and it was an absolute, fantastic meeting. So next year, the organelle that we chose is the mitochondria. And I already, we can have either 3 or 4 speakers, depending on how long the presentations are going to be. I already approached Daniel Crooks from the NCI. He gave a fantastic presentation on mitochondria and renal tumors. So he's going to give us, I have at least one person. And if any can suggest other people that have been concentrating and on discussion on research on mitochondria and human diseases. The other thing is also the meeting is going to be in Vancouver, the USCAP 2027. So it would be great to see in Canada if there is someone there that is concentrating on those. For 2028, I would want to. Yes, go ahead.
AJ is the big mitochondria person too. He was here. He gave the talk. AJ Hinton. Mm-hmm. So
yes. I already thought about him, and I will discuss it with you later. Yeah. So the other thing in 2028, I was thinking of bringing up the endoplasmic reticulum, both the rough and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and I think that would be a very nice organelle to concentrate on for 2028, and then we can go on after that. So I'm going to try and really get these. Most of the societies have OSCAP agendas and programs already ready way in advance. So we would like to try and do that from now on as well. I wanted to just say very briefly, this doesn't have to do with it, but I wanted to make sure that everyone knew about, and I don't know what it stands for, maybe Nicole knows what it stands for, but Patricia Gauguin and Bart Wagner and Lucy Collins in the UK have a very active electron microscopy society, and that is the ACEM. Nicole, what does the ACEM stand for?
I think it's on the Association of
It's written there. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Association of Clinical Electron Microscopists. So they have fantastic. They have they have every year. They started every year these lectures and programs. So I would like for really everyone to be able to attend those. They are online. And can you say something about it, Nicole, maybe?
Yeah, what should I say? They have a couple of different subjects done, but I also recently joined, so I don't know in long term. No, and they connect also to the European pathology meeting, so they meet up there as well.
Right. So I mean, the European societies of electron microscopy are very active, and really so it would be really great to be part of that and to collaborate a little bit more with the European societies. And aside from that, I don't think I have anything to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, and we usually have to have our speakers submitted to USCAP by, it's one of those things where they tell you first what in July or something, and then they usually allow you to extend it a little bit. And
By August,
we need to have
August 15th,
yeah,
you have
August
to give the
15th.
program.
We have to have our program for the following spring program provided to them, and they have strange rules. I've never heard this where they prefer us not to contact this. They want us to submit a program before contacting the speakers, right?
Correct.
Which, it's the strangest thing. So,
but the whole idea is that if they do not accept the program, which that never happens, they always accept it. But in case they do not accept the program, they don't want you to have invited people to come, and then you have to uninvite them.
And they've also have been enforcing their rules of a kind of a 5-year break between, so you can't have the same speakers, or if you're a speaker, like for example, Dr. Grande cannot speak again for 5 more years, so you're off the hook for a little bit, right? And same for
institutions.
Yeah, and even the same institution. That was a problem. Chaba and I were going to both speak when we did and they wouldn't let us. And so so that means that we have to kind of cast a wider net, because we're going to run out of kind of our core people fairly quickly within 5 years. If you figure you have a moderator can't be repeated, and then 3 or 4 speakers can't be repeated every year.
The moderator, I don't know.
The moderator can. Yeah. I thought that was one.
The moderator.
Oh, it just can't be from the same institution as a speaker. I think that was it.
No, I don't think the moderator is anything other than it's really with the speakers and the institution.
Okay. I may have misunderstood that one. Yeah. It's okay, but anyway, it's we're in a good place there moving forward. That's good. So the last thing on our agenda here is, or on the agenda, is kind of open discussions, and we've kind of touched on some of those topics. I don't know if we need to speak in more detail, or if anybody has any other ideas, other things we haven't talked about.
So I wanted to go back to the historian, right? So we don't have any historian anymore.
That's right.
And I was wondering whether Sarah Miller would be interested in becoming a historian of the society, or if anyone had other suggestions.
The winners get to write the history books, right? So you can be the you get to rewrite
For that matter. Or John, for that matter.
Yeah,
John knows.
I know American history. That's
Yeah.
about it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
but you
Yeah.
said that when you took it over from Gary, he gave you a shoebox amount of stuff. Where is that now?
Of I have a file cabinet with kind of all the paper documents and everything.
But you have a-
Yeah, it's
How much?
well, I mean, I don't know. It's just it's
I think John Shelburne
Yeah,
has a lot.
John Shelburne had sent me a box of stuff. Also, he was our historian before Gary. Yeah.
So John is in Durham and he's a close friend of both Sarah's and mine. So in terms of transitioning,
Yeah.
getting stuff from him
Right.
is something that would probably be easier for one
Yeah.
or both of us
Yeah, sure.
than anybody else. I would say one thing we might want to consider. Yeah, so Sarah, as usual, is reading my mind, which can be a dangerous thing. But trying to digitize some of it would be put online or at least archived somewhere in the cloud rather than on a file cabinet would be definitely worth considering.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why of course, most of our documentation is all online now and saved. So that will be easy to transfer and be able to do it.
Do you have anything left that we need to collect, or did you have them?
I like what? Like I mean, we have
You said you had file cabinets.
yeah, I mean, they went, and it's a lot of it is old bank records, old just correspondences and tax documents and that sort of thing. There's not a lot of society specific things as far as old programs or papers.
Could you digitize what you've got and let us get?
Yeah, I would think
stuff
so.
done?
Yeah. I'll have to go through and
Okay.
maybe
Doesn't have to be done.
maybe I'll FaceTime you and show you what all we got and see what we want. Yeah.
To some people, at some point, probably.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Started out with $2,000.
Yeah.
Started out
Right.
with 5 members. or
Yeah.
Whatever records are there,
Right.
it would be nice to be able
Right.
to
Right.
let everybody have access to
Yeah.
that somehow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. That's a good idea. So,
If somebody like Darty, if he's still around, I don't know if he is, he could be a tremendous source of information for the very beginning.
mhm.
Yeah.
Gary is still around, so Gary can be a tremendous.
I don't know if I'm sure you guys have all had to visit our website, which that's kind of another topic here. But if you clicked on the tab about the history, that was Gary wrote that for the Lisbon meeting, I believe.
Also,
And there's a tab about the oh, is that when he did that? It's an interesting history. The society was formed a little unusual compared to most, and Gary put it down together, put a nice little summary of all of that. If you want to read it, it's one of the top tabs on the website there. So
I would say that that archiving, I'm kind of an outsider here, but when I went to look at the website and then try to find perhaps the different UltraPath programs, only limited numbers available.
Right.
And then even if that available, it wasn't a program, it was just an announcement.
yeah.
But that would be very useful.
That's a great point, and I know there's been many times when we've previous USCAP meetings were always just kind of organ focused, so it'd be or a disease process focused rather than organelle, and so we were constant. And, you run out of those after a while too, and have to recycle. So we were always trying to go on our website to find, all right, when was the last time we talked about lysosomal storage diseases? Or when was the last time we talked, or trying to remember what year we partnered with the Renal Path Society and, if we could do that again, that sort of thing. So no, that's having easy access to that is,
If they're still available, when I went
right.
go back and look at my talk,
Yeah.
next one, like an abstract or something, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
available.
Right.
So I don't know whether it is actually
Right.
available somewhere, but if it is,
Yeah.
if they are available,
Yeah.
I think it would be really useful to
Yeah.
have that online.
Yeah. That's a good point. So,
And I don't know whether,
yeah.
and I say this one as
Mm.
again, it's talk about how the society is gonna grow or survive.
Mhm.
That's the question. I don't know whether you're gonna have that.
Yeah, we can have that right now. So that's always every meeting that we get together. It's this topic comes up as far as how do we grow our society? How do we, I think our number one priority is trying to keep EM relevant and get people trained so that they know when when they can use EM. And I think, weeks like this where we, it's not just all renal, it's not just all GI or, something like that. You really see, the vast amount of ways that EM can contribute. Go
Yeah, so again, my just an outsider and then going to other meetings. One of the thing society could improve is that it offers credit. Like I was surprised that the meeting doesn't have a CME credit because we are in that era where physicians or pathologists decide,
right.
Oh, I'm going to go a meeting, but I need to show something for it. And then because we have all these financial restrictions now, at least you want to get some credit so you can put it in your
right.
Because those are again
I
more
can
and more.
from my perspective, very quickly. We talked about this for Mayo, holding this at Mayo. It costs an arm and a leg. Very poor society.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
expensive to do that.
I don't know, but it should. I don't know. It's still
Most of the licensing organizations, they now say it doesn't have to be CME approved. They have taken that away.
Doesn't
Was
have
a
to
process.
be what, right?
CME, it doesn't have to be,
Yeah, okay.
you can just have a meeting like we did.
Right.
That meeting can count for mostly any licensing board.
Is that right?
And that's good.
Yeah,
One of the reasons
I wasn't
this-
aware of that.
Yeah.
Because who was Sibel was mentioning, I think that it's very, very expensive to offer that, and you have to have the whole program approved ahead of time.
Every lecture has to be approved.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, I don't know how many of you know this, but starting next year, you can only prepare slides in a certain way. There will be only certain colors that you can use. Colorblind people have to be able to read your slides. You have to have references on anything you say in the slide. It's going to cost an arm and a leg for every institution to grant CME credit. Sure.
No.
And by the way, Mayo is already starting that. I had to do that when I spoke.
Not only is it very expensive to provide CME credit, there's a question of who pays for it.
Yeah.
Right. And if we build that into the registration fee, which has happened at this meeting, that means that some of us who could care less about CME credit because we have to chip in and pay it for the other folks because we're talking about hundreds of dollars per person for somebody, one person or 5 people to get this credit.
Right.
Not only the cost is a problem, but working with the CME credit people, where do you get CME credit? Well, usually through the university, because you have to have somebody who's experienced in doing this. So then you've got to get another person involved. When we had the Richmond meeting, we had to pay someone from, I think it was Texas, to come and be at the meeting to ensure that everybody who was attending really attended.
Right.
We had to keep up with whether or not they did 6 hours a day or 4 hours a day. Did they do enough? The paperwork is tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for the last few meetings, we just haven't had this personnel to do it, nor the,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody has received any feedback. I've never personally haven't been told that I would come if I could get CME credits, but if I can't get them, I'm not going to come. But it's kind of one of those things that you never know, maybe we just never hear because they see that it's not available, so they never contact us.
But even the people who are in academic institutions, just attending the lectures at your department or at your institution, you will accumulate so many points
Yeah,
that you don't need it.
Right,
You
right.
really are those in private practice.
so that's your point's well taken. Dr. Lobos, but it's we're such a small, and so since we are a smaller group because of those costs and because we're a mixed group also, not everybody who attends here needs CME credits, right? That was kind of your point, right? And so basically they're all subsidizing for the people who do need it, and that's that's kind of
We could provide a certificate
Yeah.
that
Right.
you registered for, or you attended
Right.
this, and say something about the program and
Mhm.
the length of it.
yeah.
So that would
Yeah.
that would help residents, younger faculty,
Right.
probably as much.
I would
as
say maybe, Ruching, would you have you dealt with this issue at all with your bio EM talks? I would.
We then just the proof of attendance.
Proof of attendance, yeah. Has there been anybody, has the question of CME credits for the online webinars come up at all? No. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
And in some places make you sign every day, make sure you were there.
Right.
You know, like I
Right.
came one day and then I disappeared for
Yeah.
4 days.
Yeah.
They make you do that too. And
But-
that's a good idea.
Yeah. Going back to how the UltraPath meetings were kind of separate from the society, those were really decisions that the host made, and it was kind of up to them because we have had conferences where there were CME credits, and then others where we didn't. So, but now that things are being run through the society more, maybe that's something that we need to have kind of a definite statement on, or if we could leave it still open to individual hosts. Not sure. Yes.
So I'm new to society and I learned about this conference from our team. So basically I have two things to comment on. So the first thing is about the registration. So I know this is very, very cozy conference. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. I was just wondering if our society, so when I registered, I noticed that becoming a member, so I get discount. And then compare with full price for registration. So I decided to become a member, and for future I will be a member. So, but my thought was, so do we want to keep it as this way, as a cozy conference with close interaction? Or would you like, say, we have a lot of renal pathologists, we really need here. So would we want to open the door for renal pathology society members so they can have this mutual discount, and then they may be able to attend our conference? That's just for your thoughts, okay? Because I don't know, what's the culture of this yet. That's one thing. And the other thing is for the CNP. So I have been working at Renal Pathology Society, being involved with getting the CNP. We have an alternative. We get this from the CAP. So like last US CAP, we pay I think less than 1,000 for the CNP. Yeah, so we were able to manage that. It just takes longer time to prepare ahead of time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, again, you mentioned about the, demographics of our society members, but I don't know if that plays a role. I can check.
Right. Yeah.
But if we have more people, then the registration fee can go down. I'm hoping that way. Yeah.
anyone else?
Behind you, Sarah.
So I would just to your first comment, I think, and that's a good one. This is the only society that I pay to be a member of. So and it feels to me like it's a pretty good deal. I don't know what annual membership fees are for other societies that you're in, but I think that's one thing that we try to keep the price down. I mean, I think, $100, $150, whatever, something along those kind of lines, and then even less for, it's about the same. Yeah, that's about the annual membership is for RPS and things like that.
And that gets you the journal.
Yeah, and that is one of the biggest annual expense for the society is subsidizing your journal subscriptions. And so from Taylor and Francis, in fact, right now I have to submit they're about to send out the latest subscription, and they've been having me all week to update our membership list because we subsidize your subscription. You can get the printed copy journal delivered to your office or your home if you want for an extra $30, I think, which is very, very inexpensive for a really nice journal. And then all of the online subscriptions also, there's a bit of a subsidy that the society provides for that. Our ultra-structured pathology journal is part of a larger kind of medical group that libraries can get and things like that, but not all do. We've had executive council members who couldn't access our journal from their own institution, and so having that subscription is kind of nice. So that's what part of your membership fees also cover.
We have another comment.
Yeah.
I also, oh, this is very I can also just raise my voice too. But I also wanted to kind of like off that thought of like the coziness and like opening it up to other members, maybe about registration or like the future growth of the society. What about like EM techs, microscopists, students, and almost doing like a workshop, maybe it could be like in the middle year as well, of like pathology 101, ultrastructure preparation, how to improve your microscope techniques, imaging criteria, and try to get more people familiar, especially with the wealth of knowledge in this room, that I think that techs could really benefit from as a whole.
Right. I think that's a great point, and we have had people reaching out exactly for those kind of things, and I've always thought we have the fact that our meetings are every other year. There's an opportunity to fill that other year with some other kind of educational initiative, whether it's hosting an online webinar, doing the one-day where we get to do a one-on-one thing on the years that we don't have UltraPath, partnering with other groups.
But even that, I think, even if we don't do it in the middle of the year, even if we don't do it in the middle of the year, but having two rooms and one is more technical stuff, the other is more diagnostic stuff, so that it makes the price come down, but we do attract other people that would come to learn those things. And I think at the same time, there's a lot of meetings. This is the only meeting that will go in one room. Have two rooms, one for the people that want technical stuff. I've always thought that attracting students is always the method. And residents, if we don't attract residents, we're gonna die. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to recognize Routine. I think this has been a great collaboration with her group.
Absolutely.
And the RPS Society was just mentioned. So I think that we could maybe partner more frequently with them and get their ideas on how they operate.
So to promote these, we've been using a program and they become mentioned these. So we are also active with the European technology. So we want to put their program in every time when they have a webinar. I put that in the overview slides so people are aware of this. So yes, I think by the end of the next step, you really try to push for education. And so I would love to work together to do something better to just help the field to grow.
That ties into, we should have,
Sarah,
actually in one of the meetings, we were talking about having the group for quality, a little group that will arrange quality issues, but remember you brought up the issue of education. We should have a group of us that have the promotion for education. So I think it would be in everybody's
So one of the thoughts that I had on this, like after this meeting, and I just trying to figure out the logistics of how to do it. We need more committees. That's one thing that I've learned from other societies. Even you don't have to be a large committee to need more than a handful of people trying to do everything. And so we need an education committee would be fantastic. A website committee, somebody who can help us create content and maybe learn managing the website, like physically changing the pages, and that part's easy. We have a really nice program that does that, but when someone said, well, we need to put this on the website, it's like, okay, we need content. Someone has to write that content and build it, get it formatted, and then we can put it on there. It's not just, you don't snap your fingers and something shows up, right? And in the past, I don't know if maybe there's anybody here who has kind of experience with that, but that's not who we are. We couldn't have anybody who knew how to do that kind of thing. And so
even if they're not fully involved,
yeah,
they're involved in education part, then maybe that would drag people in too, because some of them could get to the I lost you. Medical students, how we get to the test, so there will be different lines that would, just bring up the information. So I think, and I don't know, I've been asking you guys, maybe a part of counselors' positions should be, extended to own up to this.
Yeah. So like my thought was after this to send something to all of our members, if we can identify what kind of committees we would like, and first try to ask for volunteers on who would like to help us with these kind of things. I mean, does that seem like some reasonable approach? I don't want to kind of shoot a shot at this and then not have another opportunity to do that. And then depending on what the response was, I think that then we could kind of target some people who we thought would be really good at their roles. But if we do have any members maybe even not current members, we still have a list of all of our inactive members as well. That might be a way to bring them back in for something. But anyway, so I was wanting to get some feedback from you guys. That seemed like a reasonable approach to that.
I was gonna say, you guys really need a social media presence.
Yeah.
Really, because the renal pathologists in general has a really active Twitter, we used to be or Twitter, now it's X.
Yeah.
And we're posting stuff all the time, and it reaches a broad audience, not just demographically, but age brackets and also internationally. And then the other thought was that I don't like the idea of having two different rooms at the same meeting, because for those of us who are going to be directors, like of the EM, lab, I also want to hear technical things, so maybe separating the talks on different days so that we can all be in the same room. But if you have a greater interest and you don't want to go that day, but for those of us that have interest in both, you would be able to go to both.
And that brings up another question. It's like scheduling things. Like I'm also curious because I'm interested in everything I know also, and I think a lot of people have maybe a marginal interest in everything, but a couple of things that that's what you do every day, and that's what you really want to learn about. Is it better to, like our renal talks? I think they were organized really nicely the way we did it today, where it's kind of concentrated over a couple of days. But at the same time, then people will just show up for those days and leave, and may miss out on some other interesting things that they might not have realized are related somehow to what they do all the time. So I think that's something, maybe that's a discussion to have more with the organizers, but it would be good to have some feedback on how you guys can do that.
With respect to that London meeting, I was just talking to Grace about this. So it is confirmed for that first week. That's all that coincides with the National Kidney Foundation week, which is a problem that we ran into because it coincided this week. So we had a scheduling mess back at work because we had several people out.
Yeah.
And then some of us are involved in going to be talking. So
That's really good to know, because I just know they did a search to find out all of the the European meetings that might be conflicting with, and a couple of the big ones here, but that wasn't on their radar, I don't think.
So you might want to consider clustering, just in terms of regional anyway, right? Clustering days because it'll be easier to schedule.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I just wanted to circle back about the outreach and the possibilities of like trainings and learning more on the technical aspect. This could also, well, if everyone in the room knows, I'm on the vendor side being at Hitachi, but thinking about the financial aspect when it comes to like the registration costs, this could also be like a really great collaboration with vendors, not just Hitachi, but also Thermo, Joel, Belong,
Yeah.
to provide their input of training on your microscope equipment, and then maybe supporting financially as well to the society here as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a fantastic point. I don't know, many of you may know, I used to wear a vendor hat also before I was working at Children's, and I was part of much smaller societies than ours who had vendor representatives who would help with things, and we could, and a lot of times you think because you work for Hitachi and somebody works for JUL that but when you come to these conferences, it's everybody working together, trying to, and I think that is a position that we could add as a vendor representative, and then that could also help us when it does come time for conferences to kind of reach out, because you guys know who you're competing, well, it's not even better because it's all the sample prep with the camera manufacturers, it's just everybody, and this society, when it started, there were discussions whether or not we wanted to even invite vendors. So it's like, keep them away, and that.
There may be something. There may be something along those lines in the Constitution, because it was a very strong feeling from some members that there should be no relationship.
Right.
So I don't know if there's anything like that in the Constitution.
No, I don't
In the past, we have had vendors, I think every year, except for this year, we had just a couple. And thank you very much, by the way. We have had vendors who have been very generous and have given us funds for decreasing our registration, funds for decreasing the registration for residents to get more here. Also, we have had training courses for which the society has given money, and I know Eric and Gary have led several of these where we even reduced or gave free registrations to training sessions for technologists. So all of these are great ideas. Thank you. All we need is somebody to coordinate.
Exactly.
Because I think that's what happened this year.
Yeah.
There were just nobody who could arrange to call up the vendors. Like when I did a meeting, I called vendors up. But this has to be done a year plus in advance, because you guys plan all your budgeting a year in advance, and you can't just wait until 2 weeks or 3 months before having a meeting. So Eric is very correct in saying that we need someone to spearhead the education, or even have an education committee. Maybe that's where the counselors could come into more use, and somebody to spearhead the vendor or the corporate members. In some societies that I participate in, like the Southeastern and the Microscopy Society of America, we have vendor members, and they pay, not exorbitantly, but more than the other members, even faculty members. And so it's a way of getting them to come to the meeting. This year, we have some technical papers that are going to be on Friday, but we had a whole half a day that was always on technical aspects, and the vendors were very eager to give their new equipment. It was not supposed to be an advertisement for a particular machine, but how to do the technical aspects of something that's new. And I know Tom has participated and is very eager to tell us about some of his new techniques.
Right.
So getting the vendors is important.
Right.
Getting the students is important, which we've all talked about both of these this morning. But the most important thing is getting a person to make this happen.
Yeah.
Because having served as local arrangements chair, which is a tremendous job, you can't do everything well.
Right.
And so we need a person
Right.
maybe to do each one of these things.
Yeah.
Sponsorship, if you're talking about the industry, like in companies, you need to have someone of the society that goes after sponsors and talk to them personally and approaches them, yes.
I know this is my first meeting, but I'll be a member since I'd like to speak some. So the key thing is that you could actually ask Lucy Collison to actually do the VP clinic kits. She's already in London at the Francis Crick Institute. That's one of the newer techniques that's going to be for eventually for all diagnostic to be able to kind of correlate. So you can just ask her to run that so that she can set up everything, because that's something that she does for the EMBO course anyway. So if you ask her in advance, letterhead from the president or the whole society, that should be, she'll do it, or either Dumi will do it, who is her staff scientist. So that would take care of that particular ask for training, and then actually everybody would participate. So at the EMBO course, when we did it, she recruited people to come, and then basically we trained all of them in either biological applications, diagnostic applications, and so forth. And then they took care of everything, and then they had vendors, come. That's how I started developing a strong relationship with certain vendors. So that's the first thing. The second thing is R25s are still existing this year. I don't know if they'll exist next year, depending on what's happening in NIH, but they have a special program, one that's about rigor reproducibility. And since TM and diagnostic TM is different than just general TM or confocal things in general, they usually have someone that's doing each one of those. But if you could do one on diagnostic TM, that would actually help revolutionize things, right? Because it's specifically in an area that people are not doing. So you're writing R25. I'm happy to introduce you to Kaylonda, who is in charge of the actual program. And then whoever's going to write it, and you can do it as an educational in collaboration with Hitachi. And then that way, they're helping to sponsor it. They're writing a letter that they'll help do with the technical part. And then you can actually have a workshop, separate from whatever is going on for that particular day for something else as well, or throughout the year. And then it's very easy to create a series. MSA Early Career Committee, they asked me to help because they wanted to do something for Black History Month. And then we did it. And then we did like 15, 16 sponsors in a short period of time. I think it's just who you need to know. You have to have basically a Rolodex of who already to contact and who's willing to sponsor, and then just set up an amount. And then kind of from there, if you have that template that goes out and is approved by, the society, then it should be an issue.
Could you just write up these names, emails of these people and get it to the president?
I can't.
So just as a reminder.
I can talk to you before on Friday, and we can sit down and just do everything then. Absolutely.
And so about the time, email and send it.
All right.
So that he has it as a list and doesn't. What was that?
I understand.
Anybody else?
Well, thank you very much. I think this has been one of the more productive business meetings that we've had. So we really appreciate everyone sticking around.